construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today. Welcome to the desert of the real. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them. But we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, Neo. Endless fields where human beings are no longer born. We are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out! I want out!
Easy, Neo. Easy.
Get this thing. Don't touch me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's gonna pop.
Breathe, Neo. Just breathe.
Greetings, YouTube family. Coming to you is the Most High by way of this garb of flesh, eternal on my L, also known as the Sagent. Saging is a compound word I put together. The sage has been historically classified as the ones who know. And an agent is someone who conducts a complete business on behalf of another. Here I am to help lead you to spiritual and economical and mental well-being. However I can help. Disclaimer, it's on the way. I have to let you know that I am not a legal attorney. Everything in this video that you hear is for educational, informational purposes only. I was having technical difficulties last week with my last video. I literally just got it uploaded now. And today is Sunday, of course. Sunday, January the 3rd. It's 8:55 Central Time here in Illinois. And so last week, the video was about status, jurisdiction, and adjudication. And we was speaking on the validity and how important and detrimental it is to establish your status for and on the record in any proceeding, anywhere you go. It has to be known, because if you do not do that, it will be assumed for you. And if someone assumes something for you, don't expect it to weigh out on your behalf. It's not. Point blank, period. A legal maxim of law is he who fails to assert his rights has none. You go out here running around the street, somebody run up on you and punch your tooth down your throat, and you don't fight back, then you don't have a right to defend yourself. Simple. So now we need to recognize these rights and adhere to them. Because when you're in a certain status, you have certain responsibilities, duties, and obligations according to that status. Simple. So jurisdiction also runs hand in hand with status, and then on to adjudication. 3. That's the title of last week's video. And the jurisdiction is the court's authority to be able to adjudicate. So after status gets established, it's on to jurisdiction. But status has to be known for on the record. Jurisdiction, and you have the right to challenge the jurisdiction of the court. By what authority do you have? Point blank, period. After the jurisdiction is challenged, and I've seen this firsthand, they continue to move on. You, at this point, you just have to let them know, I do not consent to these proceedings. Period. I don't consent. I do not consent. And knowing that you're not obligated to be there, you're only doing it to clear the record in regards to this matter and the administration of these proceedings, then you have the right, if you know who you are, and you can, this is not for the weak-hearted. You cannot be scared when you're going to defend yourself. You have the right to walk out. I've concluded my business here for the day. Don't let them threaten you. Hey, sir, stop, turn around, take your hat off. If you acquiesce, which means agree or perform on any of his commands, all rise, everybody stand up. You gave him jurisdiction by standing up when they said all rise. The honorable, ain't nothing honorable about him, excuse me. If he tell you to stop, get back here while you walking out, and you stop, you gave him jurisdiction. Be quiet, sir. You gave him jurisdiction. Sit down. Who is this guy? You gave him jurisdiction. And of course, he gonna use his cronies to intimidate you. The bailiff in there, with the Glock 40 on his hip, will approach you. Are you standing on that? Are you willing to go? Go sit in the can for a couple of days. Draw up a habeas corpus. Are you? Ask yourself that. Are you willing to stand on that? And after jurisdiction, then it's adjudication. So, there has to be a statement of jurisdiction from everyone involved. Like on a federal level, there's a statement of jurisdiction where they claim that they have jurisdiction and authority according to their statute, rules, and law. But either way it go, it's commercial. Point blank, period. The Code of Federal Regulations, Chapter 27, Section 72.11 says all crimes, state or federal, are commercial. Go look it up for yourself. I just gave you the citation to authority. I ain't finna sit here and blow smoke up your butt. No. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to spread lies or confuse you. That's the act of the enemy. Those people. You a law-abiding citizen? Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, of course you are. It's okay. That's okay to be a law-abiding citizen, but understand and overstand. If you don't know how to conduct business, you're gonna be right in there with the criminals. So today's topic is about trust. And how many people understand the significance of what a trust is? So, like, what does a trust have to do with the situation? Well, we need to comprehend, the history of things, going all the way back to the 1400s, when the Vatican, the Pope, and their regime put everything in the world into a trust. Your ecclesiastical property, your real property, your intellectual property. What's your ecclesiastical property? Your soul. Ecclesiastical property, yeah. It's in the Bible. That word is in the Bible, Ecclesiastes. That's the book of the Bible. So this goes back. The Bible's 2,000 years old. So even before then, these people were very evil and shrewd. They declared everyone in the world lost or dead beyond seas. Dead or lost beyond seas. Lost at sea. The sea had to do anything. A lot of people feel like, a lot of this law that's going on right now is maritime law. That's the law. The maritime and admiralty are the same thing. Okay, these are laws at sea. But maritime means the law of the sea in a time of war. Okay, and admiralty, I said it backwards. Maritime is the law of sea at peace, and admiralty is the law of sea at war, in a state of war. You got an admiral in the Navy. Look at that flag up there. They hoist up there at the top, and look and see the yellow fringes on it. That's an admiral flag in that courtroom. We need to be cognizant of what's operating upon us when you walk in. You need to be able to notice. You need to look and see, who's sitting up there. Okay, that person sitting right here, what's going on? All right, I see him. Ooh, this is what we got going on. You got to pass the bar. It's a lot going on. You got to take it in quick. You got to be able to take it in quick. So that trust was established. And you were presumed dead in the eyes of the law until you come back and made it known like, hey, I'm alive. I'm here to take back over my trust, my estate that you were born with. What estate are you talking about, Turner Lamont? It's evidenced by your birth certificate. Your birth certificate. It's evidence of a trust set up. It's evidence of your estate. You were born rich. You were born private until your mother unknowingly and unwittingly registered you with the state. Anytime you register something, you give over legal title holding right to that property. You've been awarded the state since the day you was born. Your birthday was your death date, then you was resurrected on paper. How that feel? That's why your name is in all caps. Oh, what they got to do with anything? That's capitis diminutia maxima. That's Latin for a man's status being diminished to the maximum effect by way of all capital letters. Why you think everybody's name on the tombstones are cap, all cap? He's dead. You don't exist. You cease to exist. How do we correct that? Status. Go watch my last video. Status. You have to correct your status in the public arena. Why you think that black robe walking there, you can't talk to you? You can't talk to the black robe? Hey, shut up in my courtroom. A dead man can't talk. That's why you have an attorney. That's why you have a liar. I call them liars. Lawyer. To represent you. A dead man can't speak. He's speaking for you. It's trust. Everything's been held in trust. So when you go into a courtroom, it's not there's no justice involved. There's none. There's no justice involved because a courtroom that enforces statutes does not act judicially. It's an administrative proceeding. What are they administering? Your trust. You didn't even know that the trust was set up. You were supposed to benefit from it. You are the beneficiary. Your mother was the grantor or the testator. But when you go in there, you don't know who you are. You don't know what role you play in this commercial transaction. there's several positions in a trust. Okay, so a trust is established by an act of a party. Okay, the trust is established by an act of a party. Just as something as simple as you taking a marker. Hey, bro, hold this for me. And he takes it. That's a transfer of property. You just set up a trust right there by an act of the party. And that's implied. Why? Because he implied by taking the marker for you that you can trust him. He's your trustee now. Now he's going to administer this marker for your benefit. As simple as it gets. That's a trust. Just that quick. We do it on a daily basis. Hey, mom, hold this money for me. Hey, bro, hold this for me, man. Don't let me use it until... That's a trust. He's your trustee. That's an implied trust. And you got to understand, a lot of things are being implied. That means it's being evidenced by your action or your intent. If you walking down Times Square, New York, and you get in this taxi car, you're implying to him that you're going to pay for a ride because you boarded his vessel. Simple. And then you have an express trust, which there's a testament, there's a will. This is who I want to go to. This is it's evidence on paper. There's a declaration. These are trust. So your mother, still dizzy off epidural, still shocked and confused by the pain of labor, by the pain of birth. She don't know what's going on. They come there. They want her to sign all these papers. She don't know what she's signing. She's just signing stuff. She signed you right over to the state. Mom, I forgive you. It's okay. You didn't know. But here go our troubles. Here go our woes. She didn't know what she was doing. That SS5, that application for Social Security. There you go. The first contract you ever entered. You ain't even born as long. Now I understand the validity of certain scriptures in the Bible. A child is born and within days full of trouble. I never understood that as a kid. Like, how full of trouble? Like, what do you mean? Like, my mind is innocent. I don't know anything. You full of trouble. Because she didn't contracted with these folks. Why do you think I spoke of the maritime and admiralty, the law at sea? Because in the Bible, what did they refer to our bodies as? Vessels. What is a ship called at sea? A vessel. What are you born from? Your mother's waters. What happens that indicates to your mother that she needs to go to the the delivery room? Her water breaks. What's on each side of a river? Banks. What is moving water referred to as? A current. Why you got them blue hunters? What they call them blue hunters? Currency. It's the current at sea. Don't nothing move unless there's money moving. It's commerce. Commerce is just like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. And so your mother and her vessel on your 9-month journey from the cosmos, and you manifesting into a physical body, she's on a voyage. You're on a voyage. And then where do someone take their vessel, their ship, their boat, after they're done with their voyage? They take it to the dock. Where did your mother go when her 9-month voyage with you was complete in her water boat? She went to the dock. Yeah, the doctor. It's symbolic. Look at the history. You would have never thought of that. I got this water right here, right now. Okay. And today is January the 3rd. And so if I get on the boat right now and I go to Puerto Rico with this on the boat, when I get off the boat, let's just say 4 days from now, on January 7th, even though this water is open and I had it since the 3rd, it's born into Puerto Rico the day I get there. So anything that I have in that boat and I bring off into their land, and I want to conduct business with this, I want to sell this and make some money, what they're going to give me? A birth certificate for this. The state The county that you're born in is your port of entry. Yeah, it get deep. It gets deep. They shrewd. They wickedly evil. So a trust has been set up. Your mother didn't know it because in the Constitution and according to historic writings, governments were instituted upon men to secure our rights, to protect our rights and our interests and our own personal property. But it seemed like the shooting been put on the other foot now. They're protecting their interests in your property. I'm gonna say it once again. Every time you register something, you lose what? Title holding right to the property. Guess what? Ever since I was a day old, as soon as I took my first breath, I was declared a ward of who? The state. When I walk into these de facto courtrooms, you're a ward of the court. When you go to the prison, who's the highest ranking official in the prison? A warden. Wake up. Smell the coffee. This is for informational and educational purposes. So, after this trust has been set up, trust is the most well litigated and the most established law in the United States of America since the common law. But they do not exercise common law anymore. Common law is common sense. Ain't 1,000 statutes. There's not 1,000 statutes and codes and hundreds and thousands and ordinance ABC .2 through subsection. No, that's not common law. Common law is common to all. Common sense. You know it's common sense that you don't walk up to that man and put your hands on him. That's common sense. You know you're not supposed to be stealing. That's common sense. You know you're not supposed to be trespassing on somebody else's property without their permission. That's common sense. You know you're not supposed to sexually assault a woman. That's common sense. That's common sense. That's common law. But no, they done switched it. It's a case called Genesee Propeller. I believe Genesee Propeller Chief. And that was back then where they converted and they extended admiralty law from the water onto the land. Genesee Propeller Chief versus Fitzhugh. That's the case. Go look it up. And they extended the power of admiralty law onto the land. How are they conducting laws, litigating laws that were supposed to be meant for commercial vessels at sea on the land? They extended it. They didn't want the common law in here. That's a way for them to be able to impose their will on us. So these trusts were set up because they needed a legal entity in which to conduct business with, because a government, a fictitious entity, a corporation cannot attain parity with you. Ens legis, a legal instrument that owes its existence by the law. It owes its existence to the law. It's a legal entity. And the express trust, it was under the common law. So no, understand this, not the statutory trust where you go up in an act and get a piece of paper from the clerk of the court, say, hey, I want to start a trust. That's a statutory trust. By going to get this permission from the state to even initiate this trust, guess what? You already put them in your business. Now there go a third party intervener right there. The trust was set up by you, the grantor, for the benefit of whoever, for the beneficiary. But you entrusted it, the grantor, the legal title to whatever property you put in the trust, to the trustee to administer to the beneficiary. That's a trust right there. That's it. It has to be a transfer or gift. Property has to leave one person's hand into another's. A trust is established. So, a beneficiary is one for whose benefit a trust is created. A K trust. That's Latin. A person having the enjoyment of property of which a trustee, executor, etc., has the legal possession. The person to whom a policy of insurance is payable is a beneficiary. This from the Black's Law Edition, Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 199. That's a beneficiary. So when you walk into this courtroom and they call out your trust, which in my case, ex relation, Derek Lamont Turner, they call you forward. And you be like, oh, yeah, that's me. No, that's not you. That name is expressed in all caps. Our English language doesn't have any provisions for all capital name. Go find it and please comment below. It doesn't have any provisions. Greg's Manual of English says a name in all capital letters or a name initialed is not a proper noun denoting a specific person, but is a fictitious name. The name of a dead man or a nom de guerre. A nom de guerre is Latin for a war name. Next time you go to work, you got your boss man sitting there in the desk, his name on his door on the desk. Watch, it's going to be in all caps. You see that police officer? His name is going to be A. Hole. It's going to be an initial on his badge. The name is all caps. Go look at the social security card. Pull out your ID. Pull out your ID. Pull out your ID. I've never seen your ID a day in my life. Pull out your ID right now. Go look at your gun card registration. Go look at your mail. Go look at your birth certificate. Go look at your social security card. All caps. They conducting business with your trust. You look on the backside of that social security card, it's a red number with a letter in front of it. And that letter denotes to you which Federal Reserve Bank your trust account sits in. Mine is D. That's Federal Reserve Bank D, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. I looked it up. Your social security number is an account number. How can an account identify you? It identifies your trust. Which when you became the legal age of majority, 18, you were supposed to take over the affairs of your trust. But you didn't know that. You didn't know that. So guess who continues to administer your estate? The state of Illinois. The state of California. And the name of those corporations are trust. You know why? Because the people of the Republic entrusted these public officials to preserve their rights. A trust was set up. And guess what we've been doing? We've been registering our vehicles with them. That's a trust. Huh? You register your kids in their schools. That's a trust. You don't have legal hold on right to that property anymore. You have equitable right. So when you register your child, guess what they gave you? A birth certificate, equitable title to your body, but you don't own it. That's the title to your body. You know when a car is made from whatever factory it comes from, it's issued with an MCO or MSO, manufacturer statement of origin or manufacturer certificate of origin. That's the legal title holding right to that vehicle. But guess what? When you go to that car lot, they be like, hey, Mr. John Doe, we're going to send your title in the mail. Guess what they did with that MCO? Sent it to the state and registered your car for you. When I go in there and buy a brand new car, when I get to I've never leased a car, ever went to a car lot, bought a car. For the record, I'm not going to get caught up and extorted. But I'm like, no, I need the MCO. I need the MCO. I need the MCO. So that's what's going on. Do you know a certificate, according to the banking, go get your banking dictionary, is a piece of paper staking an ownership claim over something. A certificate. So why do I have a birth certificate? Who's staking an ownership claim over me? Who owns me? Who can own my body? So let's see who else has a role in the administration of the trust. An executor. An executor, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 679, is a person appointed by a testator, who is a person who creates a trust, a grantor, a testator, to carry out the directions and requests in his will and to dispose of the property according to his testamentary provisions after his decease. So what does that have to do with anything? An executor. Because when you in that courtroom, you're supposed to be the beneficiary. The judge is the trustee. And guess who the executive is? The state's attorney. Because you've been considered dead. You don't know that. And they get you to switch roles. Are you Mr. John Doe? Are you Derek Lamont Turner? Yeah, that's me. Before I had knowledge of this, yeah, that's me. You just agreed to be the trustee. Guess who the beneficiary is now? The state, the judge is the beneficiary now. They're getting ready to benefit from your trust. You know what that's called? A constructive trust. So let's look at the definition of the word trust. According to the 4th edition of the Black's Law Dictionary, page 1680. In general, a right of property, real or personal, held by one party for the benefit of another. A confidence reposed in one person who is termed trustee for the benefit of another who is called the Sedicate trust. There goes that Sedicate again. We've seen it again. Respecting property which is held by the trustee for the benefit of the Sedicate trust. So just let you know what a Sedicate trust. It's Sedicate vi, but Sedicate for short is Latin. Is the person for whose benefit a trust is created, or who is to enjoy the income or the avails of it. And usually a Sedicate is referring to a trust set up, a living trust set up for a person who exists now. And that trust exists over the life of that person. A Sedicate trust. So, the Sedicate trust has been set up for him since the day you was born. You was born flat out rich. Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get y'all to open up your eyes, you will save yourself. What I gave you can save a country, can save a nation, but take it and save yourself. Now, back to this constructive trust that they didn't just bamboozle you into. They didn't just trick you into giving them permission to trespass on your estate. They didn't identify themselves. You didn't know who you were. So this ensues. This is what happens after you give them permission to administer your trust and steal your exemption and steal your credit. Constructive trust. Page 1680, same page. A trust raised by construction of law or arising by operation of law as distinguished from an express trust. It's not expressed, it's implied. It's implied. You walk past the bar, you imply by your behavior that you give this crook authority to administer your trust. You didn't know. Understandable. Wherever the circumstances of a transaction are such that the person who takes the legal estate and property cannot also enjoy the beneficial interest without necessarily violating some established principle of equity. Wow, that sounds a little crooked to me. They saying they can't even benefit from the interest without violating some principle of equity. The court would immediately raise a constructive trust and fasten it upon the conscience of the legal owner so as to convert him into a trustee for the parties who in equity are entitled to the beneficial enjoyment. That's Black's Law Dictionary telling you. They just told you. The court would immediately raise it, a constructive trust, and fasten it upon the conscience of the legal owner, which is you. They fasten it to your conscience that you were wrong. You don't know what you're doing. You're scared. When you come here, you don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. You ever left court feeling like you just escaped with your life? You did. So as to convert him into a trustee. What did I just tell you a few minutes ago? When you go in there, they ask you who you are. They just converted you into the trustee. You know nothing about trusteeship. So just for that matter, look in the description below. I put a link to WEISS CONCISE Trust Manual. These are the basics of trust. Look in the description below and click the link. Download it and study it. It shows you the basics, and it's so much case law in there from constitutional court cases. It's in there. And they speak on sui juris. That's the term. We're not gonna get into sui juris now, but that's the term. But back to the definition of constructive trust. This is so vicious right here on the next page, 1681, Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. It says constructive trust do not arise by agreement or from intention, but by operation of law and fraud active or constructive, is their essential element. Actual fraud is not necessary, but such a trust will arise whenever circumstances under which property was acquired made it inequitable that it should be retained by him who holds the legal title. Constructive trusts have been said to arise through the application of the doctrine of equitable estoppel. You need to go look that up. Equitable estoppel means you have the right to stop everything because you've been cheated. Somebody tricked you. Nobody can hold you to the performance and the obligation of a contract if they lied anywhere in that clause or a clause anywhere. If you figure out that they cheated you, you have the right to rescind your signature from that contract and stop any performance on that contract. It's not enforceable. Application of equitable estoppel, or under the broad doctrine that equity regards and treats as done what in good conscience ought to be done. Look, man, we don't get it. We don't understand who we are. These people in here, it just said a constructive trust arises by fraud and operation of the law. Why a constructive trust? Your trust is under construction. Yeah, why do you think they have to use securities to bond the case? Construction bonds, they call it the Miller. Go look up the Miller Act. They call Miller bonds. The bid bond, performance bond, the payment bond. And they pull these together and make them a security. After they get a state court judgment, they take these bonds and go sell them to the federal discount window. They sell them to the federal courts. You go look on that federal website, it's the list of companies, I believe around 300, who have been certified by the Treasury to buy these bonds. It's commercial. Then they fractionalize. They take these bonds and sell them domestically, internationally. That's another issue. But we're talking about trust right now. Involuntary trust. And their forms and varieties are practically without limit, being raised by courts of equity whenever it becomes necessary to prevent a failure of justice. They've been created. They're letting you know. They're telling you right here. They say if you want to hide something, hide in the plain sight. Then, on top of it, they give you the record. This is on the website. You can go look up their website. The county clerk website of them administering your trust. And you've been held liable for all, the trustee is liable for all charges to the trust. Mr. Turner, you've been charged with statute ABC 123 A through Z. How do you plead? Oh, I don't plead to nothing. I'm here making a special restricted appearance and to make sure nobody trespasses upon my estate. Oh, sir, we don't know what you're talking about. Of course you don't. But don't even worry about it. The state's attorney got his checkbook over here. I give you authority to use that bond that you bought in court today to settle this matter. I don't want to go over your head. I'm going to come back. Trust. Moreover, this is from WEISS CONCISE Trustee Handbook. It's linked in the description below. Moreover, the declaration by its terms and provision, and this called a trust declaration, this makes the trust evident. It's been declared that this trust exists. Moreover, the declaration by its terms and provisions serves to establish the entire contractual agreement, including the identities and positions of the parties, the trust name, jurisdiction, and situs, and all particulars of administration, all of which the courts of equity will fully support by the principle that equity compels performance. The ultimate result is the creation of a bona fide legal entity with its own separate and distinct judicial personality, with standing to sue and be sued, and to function as a person in commerce by and through its trustees. The term natural person has been applied to express trust by courts of equity because of its administration being carried out by men acting as natural persons. Oh, wow. A trust has the rights of a human being. Why do you think they refer to your trust as? They ask you what sex it is, a man or a woman, because you, the man, administer this trust. Understand, understand, overstand. And so when you walk into a courtroom, they're exercising in rem jurisdiction. In rem, jurisdiction over a man or woman can only exist if the man or woman is a slave, i.e., which is Latin for, that is to say, property, or res, which a res is an object, a thing, in which a case his or her disposition at law is no different than if he or her were a horse or other goods. The next Gregson versus Gilbert, 99 E.R.3:233. Parentheses K.B.1783. Go look up the case. In nature, in rem, jurisdiction is exercised over men and women by their creator exclusively. Governments can therefore gain only a fictional in rem jurisdiction over men by creating various legal devices, personas, for those men to assume limited control, e.g., the citizen, the taxpayer, the driver. Since the legal device is legal fiction, a falsehood made true by force of law, this persona is in fact a legal object or res, just as in theater, the persona, when people act, they take on the persona of the person that they're imitating. Is separate from the man or woman playing the part. Therefore, there may be artificial persons, but not artificial men. Natural persons, but not natural men. That's American Law and Procedure. Volume 13, Chapter 5, Section 55, pages 156 to 157. Everything that I say is substantiated. I have citation to authority. I don't blow smoke. I show and prove. So when you go in court, they're exercising in rem jurisdiction over this thing, your trust. But when you agreed to be the trustee, guess what you just gave them? In personam jurisdiction. Now they have jurisdiction over your person, your body. Cuff them up, take them away. I never understood how an armed man wearing his uniform walked up to you and be able to shoot you dead and say he was in fear for his life. Then they take and bound your arms. They restrict your movement, kidnap you, put you in the vehicle, drive you up to their warehouse, the jail, and hold you for hostage. Hold you hostage, and your bond is set at $100,000, and put a ransom on you. It gets deep. The trust has to have a corpus. So the trust won't exist unless something is transferred. So if I gave this highlighter to you to hold, you be my trustee. I'd be the beneficiary. But I was the grantor as well. So I can also benefit from a trust I created. But this is the trust corpus, the body of the trust. This is it. This is trust res, a thing, an object, this highlighter. It's being held in trust, and you administer it for me. When I need it, I ask you, hey, I need that. And this WEISS CONCISE trust manual is very, even though it's the basics, it is very detailed, and it's something to study. And then after the trust is established, you have what's called trust certificate units. Basically, this trust certificate unit evidences the beneficiary's interest in the trust res. So whenever who granted the trust passes, or whenever they deem fit for the beneficiaries to benefit at certain intervals in their lifetimes, whenever the trustee receives this trust certificate unit from the beneficiary, this is evidence of this person, this human's interest in this trust. Can anybody just walk up to you like, yeah, that's my trust. I'm supposed to be, no, sir, you need evidence of that. Substantiate your claim. And that's what you have to do, is substantiate your claim. So, the trustee is only limited to what the trust indenture or the declarations allows him to do. When I drew up my trust for my children that I have now, I made sure that the trustee is not able to contract with any fictitious entity, any government entity, because a constructive trust will be set up. You go in there with those people, they are thieves. They will take from you. Right in your face, right in the public. They're not covert. Covert means undercover, out of the eyes of people. Covert. Overt means in the open. Overt acts and omissions. That charging instrument, that indictment, that warrant, these are bills. And ever since the United States has been bankrupt, can't anybody from the public sending you a bill needs to be sending you a check to pay it. There's no money to pay. So you're just giving me evidence how much of my credit you use. And whatever the bond is on your case, that's how much money you're indebted. You need to settle this. A trustee conducts business. But we going in there acting like debtors because you don't know how to be a creditor. Understand, overstand. This is not meant to be legal advice, but it's for educational, informational purposes only. Link to this this handbook below. The link to the concise trustee handbook is in the description. Go get there. So an express trust can be used to conduct business because it's its own person within the eyes of the law. And people, historically use these trusts to conduct business with the same benefits of a corporation without incorporating. So let's see what that is. The decision of the United States Supreme Court. This is a Supreme Court case right here. Holding that the express trusts are not subject to the federal excise tax on corporations. They have emphasized this method of conducting business as compared with corporations. The best legal talent was soon impressed into the service of devising a means of affording the usual advantages belonging to a corporation without the authority of any legislative act. That means this trust is created by your constitutional right, Article 1, Section 10, and your unlimited, unalienable right to contract with another person, no matter who it may be. So when you go in that courtroom, you contract with those people, guess what? You have the right to contract with the court. But according to contract law, if you didn't know you or didn't knowingly or willingly enter a contract, that's fraud. You can exercise equitable estoppel, but he, like I said at the beginning of this video, he who fails to assert his rights has none. So you didn't even know you was exercising your right to contract with the court. Now you're locked into this court. So you go in there on those court days. You're performing on an obligation because you agreed to come. Oh, where you did not. I just told you a little about expressing your agreement. No, it's implied. You came. You implied by your behavior. You implied by entering the courtroom that you want to perform on the obligations of this contract. And once they get you up there, hey, we're going to continue this to another day. Sir, please step over here and sign this paper. What does it say on that paper? I agreed to be in court on the above stated date. That's contract. Contract. The law. Contract. Contract is the law. A method of placing property into the hands of trustees who held legal title and issued certificates similar to shares of stock to the Seta K Trust, showing the interests owned by each possessed nearly all the advantages desired. This excluded the use of limited liability companies, joint stock associations, and co-partnerships, which are organized under enabling statutes, which is the states give you permission to conduct business, so you're subject to all the codes, rules, regulations, ordinances that come with incorporating or getting an LLC. You subject to that. But you got the right to create this trust over here to do everything that an LLC does without all the hassle and rules and regulations of the state. You have that right. Organized under enabling statute, which merely enlarge the privileges possessed at common law, and they are therefore subject to state regulations, which may be equally burdensome to those imposed on corporations. It gets deep, but we don't know this. We don't want to know this. That's implied too. Oh yeah, love and hip hop. Come on, man. I'm holler at y'all in a second. Oh, I'm a teacher though. How would you feel if I got you right here. I got you where I need you. paying attention, ready to wake up and change your life, ready to correct your status and become a creditor. Turn the TV off. Get out in front of that TV. Get outside. Go breathe some fresh air. Drink you some spring water. Drink you some alkaline water. Meditate, breathe. Figure out who yourself is again. You can do business with this trust. Everything that LLC does, you can do business with your trust. Oh yes, I have one set up. And your liability is limited. You can bank. You can get an EIN for it. Everything that you need to do. You can transfer assets. Everything you need to do. You can issue certificates and bonds. The link to this handbook is in the description below. Keep the minutes. You keeping records. You prevail in legal affairs. And that's funny. They're talking about jurisdiction here. A government's general power to exercise authority over all persons and things. But guess what? The court doesn't have jurisdiction over your private trust because it wasn't created by virtue of them. That's why. Jurisdiction, status. Who are you? And when you walk into court, you didn't know who you are. I'm making a special restricted appearance once again. By that time, once you establish who you are and those people don't want you in there exposing their fraud, which is going to happen by way of you standing on and exercising your rights, when they catch you, they're going, yeah, Mr. Turner, come on over in this room, man. Let's go ahead and get this matter settled. Get this matter settled, man. We don't need you out here in front of everybody exposing us, man. Of course, I can do that. I'll accept these charges for value and return it for discharge, set off settlement, and closure of account. That's all you want me to do is balance your books. I'm the trustee, so I act like one. I deal with the charges. I'm not going in there and argue with you because you're going to end up in dishonor. You only have a few doors to walk through when you come in. Honor and dishonor. A lot of you people get presentments from agencies, IRSs, hospitals, and saying you owe us, and you look and see the amount, and you shocked and confused and befuddled, like, how do I owe the IRS $10,000, $20,000, $50,000? And you so scared you don't know what to do, you take that piece of mail, you throw it over there in the counter, not to see it again. When someone makes a presentment from the public side to you, it incurs liability on your end. You have to answer so you can remain in honor. Because guess what they're going to do? Anything that trust, which is your all caps name, has acquired, which like assets, cars, houses, bank accounts, guess what they're going to do? Administer your trust and garnish what the trust has made. When you go to work for someone, you're employing a trust. Once again, you can never, as a natural person, a man or woman, contract with the fictitious entity or corporation or LLC. Prime example, what if I drove to the drive-thru at McDonald's and something was wrong with my burger? I don't need Sarah or Amanda or Quisha at the window. No, I need to talk to McDonald's. Go get McDonald's for me. Oh, sir, where is McDonald's, man? My burger is bogus. I need to talk to McDonald's about this. Exactly. McDonald's doesn't exist on your realm. Unless the sign itself jumped off the side of the building and came and spoke to me. It can't. Get it? Why every time you go to court, it's the state's attorney. But when they in there and they making their statements on the court, do you see Mr. Turner in the courtroom? Yeah, he's sitting right there. They can point to me. But the state bringing the charge. Hold on, I'm confused now. Because in the charging instrument, it says such and such charged this complaint. But the sheriff will arrest you on the street, charged it, and then this person charging the complaint. Now, the state of Illinois is the plaintiff, but the state's attorney is over there, so where's the state of Illinois? Where's the state of California? I know you're not talking about the Republic, because if that's the case, everybody from the state of Illinois needs to be sitting in this courtroom right now and bringing their charge against me, because I have the right to face my accuser. Where's the state of Illinois? Mr. Attorney Man, where is it? Anybody? Where's the state? Oh, I represent the state. You represent the state. You represent a corporation. Where's the state? They're here to minister your trust. Trust. We entrusted them to protect our rights, but they stole it. They are the usurpers. What do? You arm yourself. You put the armor of God on. Arm yourself with knowledge. Arm yourself. A man don't pick and choose his battles. That means the same way I defend myself on a physical level, I defend myself mentally, intellectually. If this thug, this gangster come up here with an indictment, a charging instrument, and he want to conduct business with me, guess what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to learn how to deal with him in his arena. It gets deep, man. It gets deep. And I want to lead you. I want to lead you there. If you allow me, I want to lead you there. I want to lead you there. I want to be able to help you have spiritual, mental well-being. But you have to know who you are. You have to care about who you are. Start taking care of your body and your mind. You can't, your life, your cipher is 360 degrees. Don't think just because you got all your finances to fair that everything is okay. It's not. You got people suffering. Yeah, you able to pay for everything you want, but your health is deteriorating. John D. Rockefeller, before he passed, said he'd give up everything, all his money, if he could have his health back. It gets deep. It gets deep. So study. Study. Ones need to study and arm themselves with knowledge to be able to defend themselves in any realm or any arena. Everything is commercial. They're handling business. They're conducting business. And here you go. You a debtor, not a creditor. You don't understand who you are. You need to be able to put on your pants like a man or like a woman. Put on your pants and handle your business. I can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. I can't get out there and fight for you. I could, but I'm not going to fight for you if you don't fight for yourself. Oh no. I refuse to put myself in danger if you refuse to even try to defend yourself. When you out there with the men, you're not fighting for yourself. You're fighting for the person on the side of you. Trust. Look at the back of that dollar bill. They letting you know it's a trust. It's called the In God We. Trust. Look how deceptive they are. Look how colorful their words are. Trust. So ones need to understand who they are in relation to these legal affairs and things of that nature. Ones need to understand that. So with that being said, I am the Sagent. If you find any of the information in this video beneficial, please give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. I'm here to lead the way. Oh well.